Okay.
Alright. So I can't promise I will, 2 days, are you up on your lectures? I'm like 2 days because of our quiz.
Well, we'll work through. I mean, it's all about the
So,
thought process more.
I can't promise
so.
genius today, but.
So typical disclaimer, and I'm recording it, okay? So starting with our liver disease pathology, there can be more than one answer on this, but identify the most correct pathway for things to go through.
Pathway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so. So it's gotta start with the portal vein.
Cool.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Portal vein. Sinus nerve. Now it's. So then
I like D. Right?
D.
I think.
no, because then you can't do hepatic vein. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Why D?
Because the portal vein and hepatic artery come together to mix their blood 75% from the portal vein, 25% from the hepatic artery. Then they go past the sinusoids next to the hepatocytes. Then it drains to the central vein, and then I assume hepatic vein.
Yeah.
That just explicitly said in the IVC.
Yeah. So that's good. I mean, that's all about knowing like the anatomical relationships, and that's important because later on, whenever you actually like think about portal hypertension, if it's pre-sinusoidal, intrasinusoidal, post-sinusoidal, that plays a big count, and knowing where different pathologies occur. What about another correct pathway? So that's kind of the blood flow, right?
So that's the blood flow, so.
No, we look at A through
Then
C.
you-
Yeah.
No, the cystic duct's not blood flow.
That's the gallbladder.
So that's the
Cystic
gall,
duct.
so you go hepatocyte and then common hepatic duct.
Well,
No,
isn't it
you missed- Yeah, you
biocanigulus?
missed the biocanigulus.
So it's A.
Yeah, so it's, yeah,
Okay. So yeah, so you start with the hepatocyte, you go with those little tiny caniculi, and then you go out to the right and left hepatic ducts, which combine to your common hepatic duct, right? And then you're going to go down to your cystic duct into your gallbladder. And then after that, where would you go?
Back to the cystic duct.
back to the cystic, to the
Then-
sphincter.
What's between the sphincter of Oddi and the cystic duct?
The common
Yeah,
bile
the-
duct.
The common bile duct, exactly. And I mean, that's just your whole bile
To the
pathway.
ampulla then, right?
Mhm.
And then to the sphincter.
So you can imagine if there's any obstruction along that pathway, you can have cholestasis. And
Oh, E.
I think I forgot to I moved the answers around, but I forgot to change the first question. So you guys were right. I just
Oh,
moved I
I
just
see.
swapped E and D positioning, but
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
so you guys were right. So this is just a picture of it all, demonstrating that they go in opposite directions, bile flow versus blood flow.
And the lymph goes off like with the bile, right?
The lymph goes with the bile.
I think. Goes in
Not
the
for
direction.
sure.
It does.
Wait.
Which of,
Wait, what did you say?
The lymph goes in the direction of the bile.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yeah.
which of the following is most responsible? Which of the following is most responsible
Stellate
for cirrhosis?
Stellates?
Good
Stellates.
one.
Those are the idle cells.
Yeah.
Okay, why?
They have the vitamin A and then they also signal for the fibrosis.
Good. So it's a fibrotic reaction, right? What are your sinusoids doing?
The sinusoids in cirrhosis.
Just in
Oh,
general.
just in
Just in general.
Oh.
Filtering.
Right. That's where all the blood
filtering
pools in, and you have a good surface area of the villi and things like that. Hepatocytes,
Produce fine.
They're
they produce bile, sure.
transporting the stuff in from the blood.
Right. So like the primary metabolism, things like that. Kupffer cells,
Macrophages.
macrophages, sure. And you can have deposition like chemocyte or things like that in those Kupffer cells. And what type of disease would that be consistent with?
Hemosiderin
Yep,
in the Kupffer cells, hematomatosis,
hemochromatosis.
hemochromatosis.
Yeah. Heme, like, you know, blood or iron, things like that. Chroma, like the color. Lymphocytes, I mean, just what
Yeah.
lymphocytes do, right?
I guess they're probably responsible for cirrhosis too.
It might have some involvement. Alright, so this is just demonstrating the image of all that, your space of discs, your stellate cells, and all your sinusoids and where everything's processed. Which of the following best reflects impaired function of the liver? So you call that up like.
Oh.
Function of the liver? I thought it was A.
So why does it say B or best?
Best.
Best? Oh. So is it
But select all that apply.
all that apply? So I think A and B, I think C and D are
But
more
A could be like any type of.
biliary. A
It said A can also go up in other systemic
Yeah.
tissue.
Like it's non-specific, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Sure.
B, yes.
B,
I
and then
think-
C and D are more about like the bile duct,
Okay, so you're saying those are, you know,
bile, reflect
What
bile.
is-
expression on the lumen, the ductal
What
lumen.
does C stand for?
Gamma glutamyl transferase. So that's expressed on your bile lumen, right?
And then what about bilirubin?
What about bilirubin?
That's definitely an
Okay,
reflex because your livers are the ones that conjugate it.
Sure.
Put it out into the blood.
so for processing of bilirubin conjugation, you might have abnormal levels of bilirubin.
And albumin is low, it's liver makes albumin, so. Iron is
Okay, so what's the answer?
so all of the above?
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm thrown off by best.
Yeah,
Oh, best.
yeah.
So that's why I think A sounds specific. I just think I know.
Probably B then, right? I don't know.
But it's all that apply.
Best. I think they all are very important, but I
Okay.
can't pick one in particular for those two.
So reading the question, it says best reflects the function
The function.
of the liver. So whenever you're measuring your AST, ALT, GGT outflows, that demonstrates like hepatocellular injury because you're leaking out enzymes, but it's not really reflecting the function of it, right?
Oh, okay.
Same thing with your outflows, your GGT, those are expressed on the lumens of your ducts and things like that. Whereas the actual synthetic function of your liver is demonstrated by your vitamin K dependent factors. So, you know, your clotting, which is E, your protein synthesis, so albumin, which is F, and your bilirubin conjugation, such as G. Okay? So that one's a tricky one, you know?
That's good.
But it's a thing because people call them LFTs, but it's not really the right name for outfos or AST, ALT. Like, they're not really liver function tests.
Yeah,
They're showing
that's
liver
right.
damage tests, right?
Right.
So it's kind of a misnomer.
Yeah. It should
So what was it about AST that it's non-specific? Like it can also be elevated in other.
So some of them can be increased, like in bone. Some of them can be increased.
House thoughts is bone, right?
Yep. Some of them can be increased in other, like the myocardium, things like that.
Yeah.
But we use them as markers in the liver. That's why we take a panel, right?
Yeah.
Instead of
But
just taking
ALT is
one.
more specific than AST to the liver. Right?
Yes. The way I remembered it was L. for
Yeah,
liver.
liver.
So.
Yeah.
So an 18-year-old male presents due to slight conjunctival icterus that the family notices more when he is sick. Causes no symptoms. What is most likely elevated?
Does the direct versus indirect mean like conjugated or
Does it?
conjugate? I don't know.
It's the indirect, because the direct is conjugated.
So
You agree?
yeah,
All
sure.
right. Why isn't it ALT, AST, alpha, GT? Why are those answers wrong?
Because that's not causing
He's
this
not-
hair to be icteric. Right?
Okay. They're not causing you to be icteric, sure. What do you think the underlying cause is?
He's got probably a mutation in one of his conjugating
Uh-huh.
enzymes,
Uh-huh.
the something T, GAT T or GAT. So he probably has like some function, but when he's sick, it's
Sure,
not as good.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like, was it your UDP glucuronidinotransferase?
Yeah.
So what syndrome would that be? A mild issue with that occurs under stress is asymptomatic generally. So you already went down that it's an indirect bilirubin, so there's a problem with conjugation. So the indirect is the unconjugated lipophilic form. So what disease would I?
What's the name of it? I can't think of the name of it.
It's a cool name. It's like, just a first name, really. It's not one of
It's
those
not
crazy
Wilson,
ones.
is it? No.
No,
That's
that's
copper.
Huh?
That's copper,
Right.
Wilson.
That was copper.
So there's like some abnormalities of your UDP glucuronidinotransferase that are like super like
Mhm.
nasty sounding, like Krigler in a jar and
Yeah.
you know Rotor syndrome, but it was just like a benign name, you know, just my buddy,
Bud Sherry?
Like
Bud
my-
Berry? No.
like my bud
Gilman?
Gilbert,
Gilbert, yes.
my buddy Gilbert. Gilbert's just a benign guy who can hang
Just
out all the
Buddy
time.
Gilbert. That's
Good
a
old
good
buddy
name.
Gilbert.
Okay.
30-year-old African American female presents with chronic dyspnea. This is the chest X-ray. What do you see?
I see a diffuse.
You see diffuse?
It's kind of diffuse.
What? I thought it was like.
Yeah, that thing in the middle.
Yeah.
You're looking
Oh.
at like that.
Yeah, and
That-
yeah,
Yeah, that,
exactly.
I guess it's not diffuse.
What would you call that?
It looks like it's congestion.
Okay,
or
so some sort of filling, it looks like.
Yeah,
What positioning would you describe it as?
it looks like it's in the pulmonary.
Okay, somewhere central.
Or-
What do you call things, like, remember in anatomy you cut out the lungs, and towards the center of the lungs where it connects in to your roots, what's that called?
Broncho.
It's Hyler.
Oh,
Ah,
Yeah.
so you have some hilar, is it one side or both sides?
Bilateral.
So you got some bilateral hilar, and what's around that area? Lymph nodes, lymphadenopathy. Okay,
Oh.
so it shows some bilateral hilar lymphadenopathy. You take a biopsy of the liver, what do you expect to find?
Um, so. Not. I feel like it should be non-cancer.
Why?
Because usually like hilar lymphadenopathy is like associated with
What's the difference between TH1 and TH2?
Ah, what is the difference? So TH1,
What's that?
T helper cells type 1, those are like your IgG response, like immunoglobulin. TH2, wait, am I thinking that right? TH1, no, that helps like the cell mediated response. TH2 is like the immunoglobulin response.
yeah, so TH1 are responsible also for granuloma
Right.
formation. And TH2 are more like
The immunoglobulin, yeah.
And then, so
And then CD8 lymphocytes kill cells like.
I always
Cancer.
know that bilateral hilar lymphadenopathy is associated with that one.
What's the diagnosis?
It starts with an S.
Yeah.
Classic.
Classic in African Americans.
It's flare, has the lumps on the nose.
Uh-huh.
Help me out. The lumps on the nose. It's not.
It's something that can always be on your differential.
It's It's one of the pneumocoses.
Starts with an S, starts with a SAR.
Sarcoidosis.
Sarcoidosis.
Thank
right.
you. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
I saw some people
Yeah.
with sarcoidosis.
Yeah. So sarcoidosis can be a systemic disease. It can affect a lot of different things, including your lungs. So if I took a biopsy, I would find so it's classic for sarcoidosis, non-casing granulomas. So you would have probably some Th1 lymphocytes. We've seen macrophages, giant cells, things like that. But the most prominent thing you find are the non-casing granulomas. Looking at the other answer choices, what am I trying to show you with these things? So what about if I found a bunch of neutrophils, what am I trying to show you?
It's an acute.
Yeah, you think some sort of infection or acute process. Eosinophils,
Acute.
could be allergic. What else?
A worm.
Yeah, like a parasite.
Be a parasite,
Parasitosis, yeah. What about a highly
Hydatid disease, right?
hydatid
Hydatid
cysts,
disease.
things like that? Sure. What about highly undifferentiated carcinoma? Piecing together the story.
Is it
Metastatic.
carcinoid?
Yeah, or
Oh wait.
what else? Highly undifferentiated carcinoma.
Metastatic.
Metastatic from what?
From,
I showed you a chest x-ray, right?
yeah, it would be from the liver. Can it?
It would probably be from the GI tract if it went to
Oh,
the
yeah,
lung
yeah,
and
yeah.
the liver.
Oh no, if it's from the lung, it's from the hemorrhoidal veins. Right? It goes from the rectum
To
via the
the
hemorrhoidal veins to the
Okay,
lungs.
okay.
So like carcinoid or not? Is
That's
it
the only part of the
carcinoid?
GI
Yeah.
tract that can metastasize.
It can, oh no, it's colon cancer. It goes to the lung via the hemorrhoid, and then it goes to the liver via the portal.
I like how you guys are thinking anatomically. That's not what I'm thinking about there.
Sorry.
Because you
Oh.
can't just metastasize across the body. Obviously, you think of these anatomic associations for like the most frequent, locations. But, just coming with up this story, there's like some sort of mass in the lungs, and then you've noticed them in the liver. What does that make you think about? And the pathology is highly undifferentiated.
It makes you think of
And it's usually like a central location.
like a neuro
Usually it's like small,
Oh.
and it's made of
Small
cells.
cells.
Yeah.
Small cell carcinoma.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that
So
flooding back
true.
from the
Yes.
distant past? What about mucus producing carcinoma? What am I referring to with that? Thinking of a similar thing, I'm saying it's a primary lung lesion.
And it's more lateral, right?
Yeah, it should be more lateral. What is
Yeah.
it?
It's
I remember.
Yeah.
no,
Huh?
adenocarcinoma.
Yeah, it's making mucus. It's adenocarcinoma. Could be large, right? Maybe some large cell.
So small cell is more central, whereas
Generally.
adeno and large cell are more lateral.
Generally.
Okay.
So I always remember that small cell starts with this sound, so central.
Okay.
And small cell always has the more pituitary syndromes that go with it, whereas squamous has the parathyroid. And I remember the parathyroid's closer to the surface. I don't know.
All right, so this is just differentiating between the different types of liver patterns. So it gets confusing because it's hepatitic versus hepatitis. But those severe elevations of AST and ALT, you can think of like the hepatitic findings, greater than 500, less than that hepatitis. Then outphos
So
and
what's the difference between
GGT.
hepatitic versus hepatitis?
It's just like that designation, like
Okay,
a
okay.
severe elevation,
Oh, okay. So hepatitic is.
like the severe
Oh,
elevation
okay.
of ACLT versus hepatitis is not. So that's
So if AST and ALT are higher, disproportionately higher than your
alphos
alphos
and GGT.
and GGT, then it's a
You'd think-
hepatitis or hepatitic.
Yeah, you think it's liver centric. Okay. And then under that, you have a severe elevation, you think it's a hepatitic process. If you have involvement of your alphos and GGT, you think of cholestasis, right? Because that's expressed in your ducts. But if it's mixed, then obviously it's mixed.
And they're adding the AST and ALT saying greater than 500, right?
Together or?
I thought they were individual.
Individually. Oh.
So all of these are appropriate matches of cause and symptom, except
I know B is right.
B is right? Okay,
I know B
good.
is
What's
right.
happening in B?
It's the bilirubin or something. Well, they say it's not bilirubin, it's something unidentifiable.
Sure.
It's from your body.
Right, so your bile acids are like refluxing and building up in your skin, you're a little itchy. And that can happen in pregnancy, right? So there's a cholestasis in pregnancy, and women get really itchy, but there's no rash or anything like that.
I used to know the name for
So do you think it's going into your skin?
Yeah, it can develop it into the skin, it's itchy all over.
that. Is it
E's
pump
right.
or
So you're thinking of PUP, but that's
pup?
a little
Oh,
different.
that's different?
PUP actually has a rash.
Oh.
But cholestasis in pregnancy is itchy from this, but it's not a rash. Okay, so that's B. So you think B is good. What about the others?
E's good.
A is streptococcus. Is that the capsule on the liver?
Is it?
Yeah, sure.
Sounds right. Okay, yeah, okay.
I don't
A
think
is right.
C is. Where's the oncotic pressure?
No, it's not oncotic pressure that causes it.
It's the other one.
It would be decreased oncotic pressure and increased hydrostatic pressure.
Good, good. Right? Because you're hypoalbuminemic, so you have less protein, you have decreased oncotic pressure, right? So then you have the balance of your sawing forces, so more of it's going to leak out. You could have volume overload, which increase your transitive pressures in the intestines. What about D?
What is that bleeding diathesis?
Yeah. So bleeding diathesis is just like an overarching term for like issues with bleeding, you know, like hemarthroses or gingival bleeding or things like that. It's a catch-all term.
I saw a patient yesterday that had alcoholic
Yeah.
liver failure,
Yeah.
and he was like bruised from
Oh,
just,
yeah,
you know, they
for
just
sure.
did the venipuncture, but you get all bruised. from
Sure. So that can contribute to it, right?
it. He is right.
Okay, portal hypertension, yours. So this is just one of the schematics from your syllabus. Splitting up the different causes and workups. You can do hepatitic versus hepatitis.
What do you mean cardiac history for hepatitis?
For cardiac history, so I think some of the contributing factors is like if you have a really bad CHF and it builds up into the congestion builds up into the liver itself, it can result in hepatocellular damage also.
Nutmeg liver.
Yeah, good on that nutmeg liver, yeah. These are just some
This is really confusing.
sort of algorithms that have a lot of stuff going on in it. The only thing I really wanted to show about it is just like the thought process of when you differentiate them by the hepatitic versus hepatitis, you kind of narrow down your thoughts, right? Your differentials, and then from that you work it out. But going through this algorithm, it's got a little complicated. So
Yeah.
same thing with the hepatitis. You can see all these different causes right here that can result in the hepatitis pattern whenever someone's AST, ALT are less than 500. Okay. So acute viral hepatitis, chronic alcoholic disease. 8-year-old male recently returns from a trip to Mexico, complains of fever, right upper quadrant pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and yellow skin. Which of the following positive tests would best lead to the most likely diagnosis? Think C? Okay, so why Hep A?
Mexico.
Good. Good. That's a good association.
And I just feel like I don't remember much about it either. I know it's IgM because that's your first name.
Right. So acute is IgM generally. Why not IgG?
Because that's when you've been exposed before.
Right.
Or you're late in your.
Sure. So you switch from IgM to IgG. So it just means there's an exposure, doesn't mean it's acute. What about total?
Current. I mean, it's current, right?
Total?
Yeah.
Current? What do you mean?
Like a current infection.
Just a total antibody means a current infection?
I don't know what the total. Total's a 2, right? So you wouldn't have a total. I mean,
Right.
You have just a 5.
So the total just combines the two. So it wouldn't really tell you each whether it's your work. Okay. So that leaves IgM in acute phase. So how did you decide HAV versus HEV in this patient? So you did make some.
Diarrheal disease is A.
You did make some classic association. So a presentation of HIV in Mexico, and there's a young patient also. They're both hepatitis, so they both can cause some non-specific right upper quadrant pain, nausea, and vomiting. What is HEV classically associated with? HEV?
Oh, EV. Yeah.
Like a patient population?
Pork.
Immuno.
Pork.
I guess it could
I thought
cause
it was more like immuno.
Yes, immunocompromised, that's one thing. What else? Only the 50% of the population can have this condition.
Sickle cell disease.
That's a high
I don't know why
population.
It just popped out. 50% can have that disease.
This condition.
Oh, this condition. Oh, okay.
Pregnancy.
Pregnancy, yeah.
Yeah. So it's associated with like fulminant liver disease and pregnancy.
Oh, okay.
HEV.
And they're immunosuppressed
I guess relatively.
in some way, in some regards.
All right. So same kid. Why can this virus go fecal oral?
Because in the vial, it takes off the capsule, exposes the proteins. Cells, but I know that D is right. There might be other reasons as well.
Oh, yes,
You think D? Why not A?
and that's
I don't think, I don't know if that's the
I remember
mechanism.
H. pylori did urease.
So do you think viruses
Well,
generally
viruses
release?
don't have
Yeah,
toxins.
so it's not really like a virus thing,
Duh.
right? Okay, what about B?
It's a virus, so I don't think it produces.
Yeah, isn't it?
Okay, what about C?
So, the RNA is exposed in the.
Okay, what about E?
Wait, what did you say for E?
I don't know how the virus, which cells they infect. So I don't know if they infected. I think they infect just the normal cells.
Okay.
I don't think they just infect the virus.
So the big thing is it doesn't really have a high concentration of lipids in its shell, which would enable emulsification of the bile acids, etc., to break down the shell coat and then degrade the virus. But it's
Okay.
primarily protein, so it's less able to do
So
that.
why is C wrong?
C, acid resistant. The RNA itself, as far as I know, isn't resistant. It's
Okay.
the shell over it.
And then what does it infiltrate with cells?
The viral infiltration,
Yeah.
Is it the normal enterocytes,
Okay.
or does it matter?
all I was thinking was hepatocytes. but,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I just kind of made that introverse up.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So it's just a table.
So what is that saying? Acute infection. Is it saying it's only the gray?
Yes, so it's showing that in acute infection, you're having an IgM response because it's acute,
Why does that plus on total?
because you're still measuring the whole quantity of immunoglobulins available. So I have some immunoglobulins, which is IgM.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have some, if I just measure non-specifically, HAV antibodies. Gotcha. And there's also an indirect way of measuring IgG, I guess, because if you have no previous IG, or you have no current IgM, that means you're not acutely infected, but if you have a total
Your
HAV,
IgG
that
is
means
gonna
something
be
else
high.
is consistent that, which would be your IgG.
Okay.
But if you had no exposure, I'd be double negative. Makes sense? And this type of stuff will be on like your step and your things like that. They'll give you like which antibodies or ask you which ones you expect at this time or things like that.
So if someone gets a Hep vaccine, their total will be high.
Yeah, so they will have a total if you have a vaccine of hepatitis of sorts. What would that be demonstrating?
IG.
IG, what? G, right, exactly. But it also depends on like IgG against what, which I think you'll learn later on like Hep B, stuff like that. All right, Chris is very inebriated, very match day. He knows him very flushed. He does not seem to feel well. He begins to projectile vomit extensively. What is the underlying cause of the not feeling well, vomiting, being flushed?
Wow.
Decrease of acetaldehyde dehydrogenase.
Okay, why?
Because that's the important one well, it's not a decreased activity, I think it's overwhelmed.
It's like saturated essentially.
Okay.
So
I would say.
maybe there's depletion of
Let's see.
NAD.
C. Why not? There's a pathway we learn. I just
Yeah.
don't remember.
There's a pathway, no, so
It's a thing.
you need the NADH, right, to be able to, or you need the NAD to be able to use the acetyl dehydrogenase. I think it's.
What is CYP2D1?
Huh?
Cytochrome P450 subtype 2E1.
Maybe I think you consume. I feel like glutathione is part of it, like indirectly. The underlying cause, though. I think it's C.
Yeah.
I know it's not A. I know it's mostly the acetaldehyde that's the problem.
Okay, so A, you marked off because
I know it's
it's not really alcohol dehydrogenase, right?
Yeah,
It's
because
acetaldehyde.
Alcohol
The thing that makes you
dehydrogenase
feel
takes it
bad
from
is-
what to what?
The alcohol dehydrogenase makes alcohol into acetaldehyde. The acetaldehyde dehydrogenase turns acetaldehyde into acetic acid.
And acetaldehyde is what makes you feel unwell.
Right.
But it's not the decreased well, I guess it is really the decreased activity, because I think there is something where you don't have enough NADH or
Wait,
anything.
but the activity still stays the same. It's just
Yeah.
like not.
Well, not
You
if
have
you don't
more
have enough substrate.
than.
No, I
and,
think it's because you don't have NAD.
Yeah.
So what if I was asking you at baseline compared to the general population, decreased activity versus increased activity? So I'm not really specifically talking about in a saturated state, how the activity changes. I'm just talking about from me to you, what would my activity be?
Oh, from you and I,
Mm-hmm. For me and him,
or you and him?
yeah.
It should be.
Would my acetaldehyde dehydrogenase likely be higher or lower activity than his?
I think yours would be
I think higher.
You think
higher.
If you're inebriated, yeah. Right? Because
Just like genotypically,
Oh,
not in the inebriated state, just like at baseline genotypically.
at baseline, the
Yeah.
same.
Are you saying less because you're Asian?
Yeah. That's what I'm
Oh, yeah, 'cause
right?
Asian,
Because
is that why
Asians-
they get flushed?
Yeah, so Asians have less acetaldehyde dehydrogenase activity and higher alcohol dehydrogenase activity if you see an Asian who flushes. So they're generating more of your acetaldehyde, which is problematic, and you're getting rid of less of it because you have less activity.
Oh.
So increased A, decreased B.
Yes.
But is there something that also there's less NAD
Yeah,
less
so-
available during when you're intoxicated because your
So
body
NAD plus is consumed in the oxidation of alcohol. The way I was thinking about that is whenever you consume your NAD plus, you no longer have that available for gluconeogenesis. So people can become hypoglycemic when they're intoxicated.
And you also don't have it available for the G6P pathway
Yeah.
for glutathione,
Mhm.
which
Yeah. So I guess if you like had a acetaminophen overdose over lime, you can have even more hepatotoxicity. Makes sense. People who are alcoholics do upregulate their cytochrome P450-2A1, but if anything, it'll help me clear more. Consumption of glutathione, I just kind of threw that in there.
God.
All the following are possible sequelae of alcohol abuse, except
Ooh. Impossible.
Aren't Mallory bodies and Councilman bodies the same thing?
Yeah.
No. Mallory
No.
bodies are the.
What's the council? Yeah. It was just didn't someone get credit and one person didn't or something?
oh yeah, I thought Mallory bodies were like the Hyland bodies, whereas Councilman bodies were like the apoptotic one.
Yeah,
Oh,
Councilman
okay.
right. Never mind.
Okay,
you're right,
sure.
you're right. Okay. Sequelae of alcohol abuse. Dupuytren's contractures. Isn't that in your hand?
Mm-hmm.
That's where your tendons get hit.
Just like the aponeurosis
Yeah.
overlying the hand really.
Yeah.
So older people, you might see them.
Actually, all but I. Yeah,
Yeah.
all but
What
I.
does Dupuytren's contracture have to do?
Doesn't matter. It's all but I.
Gynecomastia?
They're
I think
all-
gynecomastia. I remember that.
All of them are possible.
Eye is possible. You can have psychosis.
The lettering messed up.
Oh, being cool.
Oh yeah, the right eye. Sorry.
Jaundice, muscle wasting, eyesight, GI
I
bleed.
think that's what we're trying to get at.
That's all testicular atrophy,
Sure.
Heisman, that's all. Eyes, not right.
You don't think alcohol abuse is cool, guys? Y'all went through like Dare, and, you know. all
I
that good
still
stuff.
remember the song.
Yeah?
And I sang it full out for my husband, and he
Nice.
just looked at me and he was like, the original song. Do you remember it? You can YouTube it.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
The original.
So yeah, so all of these things can occur with alcohol abuse, except for that one. So we already talked about A and B, so that's like hepatic injury. AC, ALT is kind of classic for alcohol abuse. Over to spider angiomas, palmar erythema. Those are like changes with your vasculature. Why is that happening? So let's say spider angiomas, palmar erythema, gynecomastia, testicular atrophy. Why are those all occurring?
I don't know. I don't understand that.
Any ideas? Do you feel like they have any sort of relationships?
Like, is that hormonal thing?
Yeah. What hormonal thing?
Estrogen?
Yeah. So people who are cirrhotic can't process their androgens very well, and you have peripheral conversion of androgens to estrogen. You hyperestrogenemia can lead to gynecomastia, atrophy, and then estrogen can cause, I think, vasodilation, which can result in your erythema and spider angiomas.
Okay.
And I want to say Dupuytren's contractures are also secondary to that too. Yeah. Hepatosplenomegaly, how does that occur?
Portal vein.
Yeah. So portal vein, hypertension, backflow, and dilate the spleen. I guess if you're super cirrhotic, you could have a shrunken liver versus during the fatty liver component, it would be bigger. Caput medusa and ascites. Where's that coming from?
Ascites?
Portal hypertension, sure. Asterixis, how's that coming?
What does that mean?
So it's like whenever you hold your hand out, it starts flapping.
That's the neural.
Yeah. What is that? What's causing that?
It's buildup of nitrogen in your
Through what?
through reduced the cycle that gets rid of
Uh-huh.
nitrogen,
Uh-huh.
which is the
Your urea cycle?
urea cycle.
Uh-huh. So what's floating around in your blood? What form does that nitrogen take in your blood?
Takes
Ammonia.
Yeah, ammonia.
Ammonia, yeah.
Yeah. So you'll get ammonia levels on these people, see if you're, resolving what they have.
Is
as
that
ulcers.
arthritis?
Yeah. What about GI bleed?
It's routine tear.
How is this person getting a GI bleed? Most likely.
It's acute. Well, it could be several ways because you could have varices,
Yeah, varices, right?
or you could have the alcohol being kind of irritant to the
Like a
gastric.
Gastritis kind of deal?
Yeah.
Sure. Muscle wasting. What do you think about that?
Those are
Right. So, I mean, with poor protein synthesis and generally overall poor nutrition, you end up having muscle wasting, but you have central obesity from your ascites. Jaundice, I mean, I think that's kind of self-explanatory. Wernicke's-Korsakoff's syndrome.
What is that?
What is that? So these are neurologic manifestations of chronic alcoholism. It can be from thiamine deficiency or poor nutrition overall. And you can get things like confabulation, ophthalmoplegia, abnormal eye movements, things like that. You can also have someone who has anterograde retrograde amnesia. They're described as two distinct syndromes, so Wernicke's encephalopathy, Korsakoff syndrome, but they common overlap. So people will just say Wernicke's Korsakoff syndrome. Psychosocial impairment, I think that's pretty clear, chronic alcoholics. So, what about delirium tremens? You guys know about delirium tremens? So DTs occur with alcohol withdrawal. So if someone is a chronic abuser and they suddenly come off of it, their body's used to having the sedative, the GABA receptor inhibition. So if you remove inhibition, you have excitation, and overexcitation can lead to seizures, right? So that's one of the concerns of rapidly pulling someone off of alcohol. And how would you treat that?
Wean them off.
Wean them off, sure, but what if they just like went cold turkey, they came in, how would you reduce the excitation?
Put another inhibition in it.
Yeah, just another one. You just give them like a pint of alcohol, right? Not really, but you would use something like a benzodiazepine, which also targets your GABA receptors. So alcohol and benzodiazepines pretty much have the same mechanism, right? So you use something like Ativan to stave off delirium tremens. Clinical approach to jaundice. 52-year-old male with severe alcoholic liver disease comes in with hypovolemic shock from extremity laceration that just won't stop. After your initial resuscitation efforts, what do you think would be the most appropriate treatment?
So is initial resuscitation giving him
Like
plasma?
fluids and
Oh, it's not
The D.
our blood transfusion for this.
if it's real bad, sure. You said D.
D would give you the vitamin K you need to, but that wouldn't help the liver enzyme that takes the vitamin K to carboxylate the I wouldn't even look any better.
I'm not sure what B2 does.
I don't know what B2 does.
So in this question, what am I trying to get out of you? Like looking at the answer choices, what is this kind of broad topic covering?
Well, we're trying to get his coagulation factors higher.
Okay, good.
But I'm not so sure that vitamin K infusion would do that because
Yeah.
the actual liver is damaged.
So the liver's damaged, so you're saying there might be
The
some
carboxylase
carboxyreductase not working too well. But do you
Yeah.
think there might be some?
There might be
There's
some
would
help.
you still
Yeah,
try?
it could help. Yeah, it's probably
So
worth a
yeah, so
shot.
you might try, just give it a shot. What about vitamin A? Why would you even list vitamin A? So I listed vitamin A, D, E, and K. Do those have any common?
That's
They're all-
Yeah, fat soluble ones, right? So if you have problems like cholestasis or bowel production, you can have fat soluble vitamin deficiencies. So vitamin A, do you think has any issue with clotting? What does vitamin A lead to?
Right one.
Right, eye issues. Vitamin D,
calcium.
right, calcium problems, rickets, bone deficiencies. Vitamin E,
Neuro.
neurologic, ataxia, things like that. What about B2? You guys kind of mentioned that.
I don't know what B2 does. I know these are important for.
Yeah.
So B2 is riboflavin. Okay. Alcohol can have deficiencies in thiamine B1, B6, pyridoxine, B12, folate, So those can be all related to poor nutritional intake if someone's chronically alcoholic. Vitamin B2 isn't generally just a problem with people who are alcoholic. But with alcohols, you generally would just replenish thiamine rapidly, quickly, because like we talked about the Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome that can be precipitated. If you give them glucose intravenously without giving them thiamine, you can precipitate that. So that's a problem. So that's why you give thiamine before glucose in someone who's alcoholic and hypoglycemic.
Oh, yeah.
So vitamin K, that could help with producing clotting factors. Which ones?
2, 7, 9,
Anything else?
10, and C,
Protein,
and S.
Yeah, 2, 7, 9, 10, C, and S, right? So actually, if you had problems with those factors, you could replenish them. Another thing that you could replenish is fibrinogen. If your liver's not synthesizing enough fibrinogen, you could replenish that with cryoprecipitate. If you didn't have enough platelets, because it's all being sequestered in your spleen from splenomegaly, you could replenish that. What else was I going to say? I think it's a 44-year-old female with jaundice, dark urine, pale stools, and weight loss for several months, but no pain. She was diagnosed with diabetes recently. Labs show a direct hyperbilirubinemia. What is the most likely cause?
B. I don't know the difference between pre and post.
You what?
I don't know the difference between those three. I haven't.
Yeah.
I didn't do that lecture.
Well, it's gotta be intro because it's, so
Currently going on.
the direct is, so the liver's functioning, it's making direct.
Jaundice without weight loss, painless jaundice without weight loss is cancer, right?
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one they're doing.
All right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they said until proven otherwise.
Good.
I'm not sure if diabetes has anything to do with it, but
Good. So,
I feel like it's post just because it's direct and the liver makes.
okay, so you're saying the liver's
It's
functioning.
It's working, yeah.
Okay.
It's something stopping it from.
Something stopping it from leaving?
leaving.
Okay.
oh.
What about the dark urine, pale stools?
So she's got malabsorption from
I think it's C now.
Saturnia, right?
Steatorrhea, okay. So you're not getting the fats in, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you don't have bile and you can't break it down to the micelles.
You can't emulsify it, right?
Emulsify. And dark urine, she's probably having
So that means the bilirubin is going into the urine, but not the stools, right?
Yeah, so the bilirubin's blocked off from getting to the stools, so it's backing up and it can get in the blood and urine.
Yeah.
Sure. What's the most likely cause of this person's? A. But that's the pancreas. Why would the pancreas have problems doing
Oh, it
anything?
is cancer. You're right.
Why?
Yeah, what do the pancreas have to do with the liver and the bile ducts? Like,
Well, if it's blocking, if the cancer tumor is like pushing on the like they share the duct. So
oh yeah, they do share that common bile duct,
if
right?
it's pushing there, then it can block it.
And there's like a part of the pancreas, like right there, developed a cancer in the head, right? The head of pancreas, you can cause an obstruction and lead to this cholestatic picture. Schistosomiasis, what's that?
That is a tryptophan.
The one with like the lateral spikes and the Japone, Mansoni and something like that.
Either Mansoni or
Hammurabi.
Oh yeah,
or
good, yeah.
The
I don't know what they are.
and that goes against the portal, like everyone's traveling one way and it goes the other way
And where exactly?
through the portal vein.
Okay.
And there's one version, and then there's, that's a different one.
So it can actually get into the sinusoids.
We can,
Yeah. You can double check me on that, but I want to say it can cause a sinusoidal, intrasinusoidal jaundice. And then colorectal cyst and biliary atresia, what's that?
Biliary atresia would be like maybe if it wasn't getting blood,
Okay,
kind of
so what does atresia mean?
narrowing.
Right, so it's not like fully developed. So that can happen
Maybe more like a
congenitally, right? So kids can have that. That's a big problem. Colorectal cyst, what does that sound like?
So that's a cyst in the, somewhere around the duodenum and the, right? Duodenum and the duct. Oh,
What's-
no, I guess the duct from the, so the cystic duct maybe?
What's choledocholithiasis?
Stone.
Yeah, I mean, so choledochal kind of means like pertaining to biliary ducts, right?
Okay.
So you just have a cyst that's impeding on that so you can have outflow. And then ascending cholangitis, what's that?
So if you got a stone and it blocked and then
Fully
it
blocks.
got, and then it got infected.
Or partially blocks and it gets infected. Yeah. And you get real bad fever, jaundice, etc. So you find that she's had multiple superficial clots during this time. In the hospital, she has multiple strokes in different vascular territories, described as embolic showers. What's the cause?
To her, where is the, oh, to her head?
Mm-hmm.
E?
It's gotta be, this is the same patient with the
Yep.
cancer, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So you know she has cancer.
I think it's strep bovis endocarditis.
Is that colon cancer?
Well, because like if you have pancreatic issues, you can like maybe wear some of your,
I think it's E.
Watershed infarct.
no, because the strokes to the brain. Oh,
Because doesn't schisto like also go into the IMA?
but she's
No.
cancer.
S. No problem.
I'm gonna go with A just because I feel like if you have pancreatic, you would like go into the intestines and, you know, get some of your,
Okay.
I don't know. Nope, that's wrong.
So this one's tricky. So, right, strep bovis is colon cancer, but you
Okay.
could get tricked into thinking that it's associated with zoster stuff.
Yeah.
Carotid atherosclerosis, why isn't that right?
She's cancer, so.
Okay.
It's probably not like, I mean, she could have that, but.
Why embolic shower? Like that would
Yeah.
be like one.
Huh?
It would be singular.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you'd have one vascular territory that the carotid feeds into, but the embolic showers in different territories means that it's coming from somewhere more proximal, because it has to get to either internal carotid or your basilar artery, right? Because those are your different vascular territories. MCA, ACA, basilar artery, right?
Mhm.
Back in the day.
Yeah,
Okay. What about Monkeberg's arteriolosclerosis?
that's not.
Yeah, that's not
It's like high-
anything related, right? This calcinosis of peripheral arteries.
Mhm.
Watershed infarcts. What is a watershed infarct?
This more distal area.
Yeah.
So it's an area of anastomosis
Yeah.
that if you have hypoperfusion, it gets acidotic and hypoperfused.
Like a splenic flexure.
Exactly. Spinal flexure being a big one.
In the brain.
You have it in the brain too, but would that have embolic showers in different vascular territories?
Yeah.
It would be in these areas where the vascular territories meet, but it wouldn't present in that distribution of embolic showers.
Okay.
Bilirubin deposition, what is that in the brain? What is that called? Happens a lot, or happens, biggest concern in
It's,
neonates.
starts with a K.
Yeah,
Kernicterus?
kernicterus.
Kernicterus.
Yeah, the basal ganglia, right? So non-bacterial thrombotic endocarditis, also known as morantic endocarditis. in the first line of this question, she has multiple superficial clots. What is that? Associated with a pancreatic adenocarcinoma. It's a superficial thrombophlebitis. You can see it in different areas, like kind of jumping lesions. It's called Toucheu's syndrome, where you have hypercoagulability because of the mucin produced by the pancreatic adenocarcinoma. And I think this can be associated with colon cancer too because of the mucin production. And then if it just so happens in this prothrombotic state, some people think it's a spectrum, you can develop vegetations of fibrin and clots on your heart valves. So it's non-bacterial, but in the procoagulant state it develops these friable deposits which can throw out strokes everywhere. So that's, at that point, you're really up a creek. There's not much you can do in there. Probably not gonna do all that well. You can try anticoagulating with that. All the following are true about breast milk jaundice except
Well, actually, no, I take that back. C is correct.
So not enough breast milk can cause.
Yeah, because you're in the early, you only have colostrum at the beginning, and it takes a while sometimes for the milk to. So it's indirect, and so I think it's decreased beta.
So there's actually two answers in this. Now that I look at it, I misread it.
There's decreased circulation, I know that.
Okay, so you think B? What would be the second answer?
So the second would be, oh, it's 7 days, isn't right? That's a problem.
Seems a little too specific.
Indirect,
Yeah.
indirect, it should be about like 2 days, 3 days. 7 days is usually, it's still going on 7 days.
So how long did they cover this? Because I felt like,
They didn't cover it well, and they also, I think they gave, well, okay, I didn't watch the lecture, but they gave kind of poor advice
Sure.
about the supplementation
Yeah.
coming from a breastfeeding counselor.
Yeah.
Because I studied breastfeeding, and they give kind of terrible advice
Yeah.
about that, but,
Yeah.
because there's a, if you supplement a breastfed baby and they get satiated, they don't nurse, and
Sure.
if they don't nurse, they don't stimulate breast milk production. If they don't stimulate breast milk production, moms don't get the milk that they need, and then they can't supply, and then they produce.
sure.
So there are better ways to solve the problem.
So we didn't really, I felt like I didn't really learn this all about peds. But there's a difference between, there's two. There's breastfeeding failure jaundice, and there's breast milk jaundice. So a big thing is differentiating between the two, because that can be on your test also. So actually I think B and C. So breast milk failure jaundice means when you're first coming in, you have the colostrum, not enough milk intake, and you have kind of poor transit through the GI tract. So you can reabsorb your bilirubin more, right? That can be the jaundice. So that's inadequate breast milk intake, and you have a decrease in enterohepatic circulation. That's earlier. That's when you first start because the colostrum hasn't really developed all that well. So it's like 2 to 4 days. Marching around 4 to 7 days, a week or two.
So wait, what's the question now? Now I'm confused.
Yeah, the question was
all of the
for
following true, but it's not 7 days though, right?
so 4 to 7.
It's 4 to 7, right?
It's 4 to 7,
Oh.
yeah. So
And is it increased beta
Yeah.
glucuronidase?
yeah. So one of the thoughts is like the bacteria in the gut will degrade your glucuronidated bilirubin, so you reabsorb it.
So is there increased activity?
There should be increased enterohepatic circulation. There's increased beta glucuronidase activity in the GI. And at least in hyperbilirubin around 7 days, and there's no kernicterus associated.
So those are all wrong.
Those are all right. C is wrong.
That
C
is- okay.
and B are wrong.
C and B are wrong.
Okay, so in breast milk jaundice, you're getting milk in, right? And then you actually increase your enterohepatic circulation.
I thought they had decreased circulation.
With breast milk jaundice?
Oh, it's that's what I'm getting confused. I'm just thinking physiological.
Right.
Neonatal
Right.
jaundice. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Okay.
Yeah. So this is, yeah,
I see.
jaundice.
That's what
So you'll reabsorb your bilirubin. There's believed to be increased beta-glucuronidase activity, breaking off the glucuronidase or glucuronic acid off of your bilirubin. You'll reabsorb the indirect bilirubin, so you have an indirect hyperbilirubinemia, but there's no association with, man, I totally wrote this question wrong. I
Yeah.
confused myself. There's no association with kernicterus.
Okay.
Okay. So B, C, and E are wrong in this question. Wow, okay.
I think it threw me off because it was the breast milk jaundice versus the
Right.
more
That's-
physiological.
That's definitely one of the
jaundice.
questions they'll trip you up on.
Yeah, okay.
So there's acute liver failure injury. Which of the following is most responsible for liver damage from acetaminophen? Okay. Which of the following is most directly responsible for the liver damage from acetaminophen?
Air, I think.
It's not glutathione.
Okay, so it's not glutathione. It's like a reducing agent, right?
Yeah.
To help protect. So along those lines, do you think C would lead to liver damage?
No.
Because that's involved in the glutathione protection. Okay.
So, I don't know what capitalized
Yeah.
is. I would go off of, I would say A just off of a hunch, but
Okay.
I have nothing to back that up.
Yes, okay. So you're right that A metabolizes acetaminophen into N-acetyl-P benzophenone, which is NAPK.
Oh.
And
okay.
NAPK is responsible
For liver.
for stuff. And then mercapturic acid is a degraded form of NAPK through glutathione transferase, right? Glutathione reduction of NAPK. And N-acetylcysteine was that. So that's what you give people. It's also mucomist. You give them that in acetaminophen toxicity because it'll replenish your glutathione stores and prevent liver injury. So that's an antidote to acetaminophen toxicity.
Okay.
So if you have like a drug-drug interaction,
Yeah, so you deplete all your glutathione already, you can have worsened toxicity.
So basically you're building
I
up
think
the
you're-
NAPK and that's what's damaging your liver.
I bet your cytochrome P450 gets like essentially saturated with one drug, and the other one has a longer half-life. Isn't that part of it?
Saturated with one drug.
Like the drug, this if you have one that's specific for P450-2E1, both drugs are working on it, so the cytochrome can't do it at the same rate. So one drug sticks along. That was,
I think you're thinking of tenofovir. Or not, or ritonavir.
So you're saying that if you saturate that cytochrome, then it can't metabolize another one? Or what are you saying?
yeah, because aren't there certain like that's what you're looking for, like contraindications of certain drug usage for cytochrome P450?
Like upregulating or
Yeah, because don't they work together on the same?
depends on which subtype, sure.
Yeah, so if we have one that works on P450-2E1, you have acetaminophen and something else.
There's some that increase and some that decrease.
Sure.
Aren't they like sticking around longer?
Like they're not being metabolized as fast, sure.
Yeah.
But the actual damage is caused.
So you're saying that if you gave something else and you blocked off that metabolism, you wouldn't generate NAPK?
Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
And isn't the okay? I'm just thinking something else.
No, yeah, that's a good idea.
No, I,
Didn't
But then
consider
you
that.
would be kind of screwed in other
Right.
ways because
So
P50 does a lot of other things.
Yeah. That's an
so if
interesting.
you're doing okay, it's the NAP. So you have too much NAPK.
Right.
Whenever, okay.
Right.
How does the napkin damage the liver?
You know, it's a great question. What is the mechanism of NAPKI?
Okay, I love that you put Van der Waals on here. That's awesome. I don't care if it's not right. I just love it. Mine's just kind of sweet. All right. ADH rings all the way down. What is it? Can I see what NAPKI is again? The actual N-acetyl imines.
Don't you have like an AST and ALT greater than 500?
Look at hepatitic. Sounds right.
That's just my only problem.
And imine has a positive charge, right?
Imine.
It means it's an N.
This is just more like a fact thing. I'm not sure if it is.
No, but you
Is
can
it?
figure it out with the chemistry. I bet you anything. I bet we can figure it out with the chemistry.
I have the structure on the next slide, but
Oh, you
just
do?
what's the
Okay,
What do you
it's
think?
not.
I'm trying to remember if I'm gonna go with it's not ionic. Okay.
Maybe you say C's wrong, right?
Van der Waals? No, I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
think we do that.
so this can be important in the approach.
I don't know. I don't remember what the imine structure is, but
Any guesses? Just throw out a guess.
I'm gonna go with it's either B or D, but
I say B.
B would probably be good. Wow, covalent.
All right. So it is irreversible, right? So you have a time frame to act. There's actually a nomogram. Did they show you that? It shows like how much acetaminophen you've ingested, the time frame, and how much N-acetylcysteine to give. But if you're outside of the time frame, you have an irreversible injury because if you have this covalent bonding. Then what is your glutathione stores going to do, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So that's your NAPKI. It is showing the
There it is.
metabolism.
Yeah, it's a carboxylic with the that's acid.
This is showing the metabolism of the alcohol or the acetaminophen to your NAPKI. Then you have this harmless mercapturic acid on the top right. And then this actually covalently bonds and adducts with your proteins and somehow leads to injury and apoptosis.
Covalent bonds because the imines, see the ketone there?
Yeah.
It's, so that is an electrophile, that carbon, the top one.
This one?
Yeah. No, the carbon that's with the imine. That's where the
Carbon- oh,
reaction's
here?
happening. Yeah, it's happening
Gotcha.
there. The reaction's gonna happen there, so it's gonna accept and then it's gonna offload. Probably, it's gonna happen there though, at that
Gotcha.
carbon somehow.
It's been a while, but I believe you.
For the actual covalent bond, it's gonna be at that carbon number. I don't remember how, but.
All right. Immune-mediated liver diseases. Pair up the correct antibody with the disease.
SSA and SSB, is that Rowan law?
Yes.
Yeah,
So, well,
Lupus is not lupus.
is lupus double-stranded DNA?
No, it's anti-nuclear.
Do you think it's C?
I think it's C. I don't know.
Final answer?
I don't know.
Is A right?
I don't know. I don't know that one.
I didn't go to lecture.
Okay.
I didn't do that
So
lecture
you
yet.
guys aren't sure about this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. I guess they put the answer. So A, it is anti-smooth muscle antibody. So that's the most common type. So that's one of the biggest ones you'll need to remember for autoimmune hepatitis. Anti-liver kidney macrosomal antibodies is less common subtype. So plus or minus on how in depth you need to know for that. For lupus, it is ANA, but anti-Smith and anti-DS DNA are more specific. So those are associated with it. So ANA, remember, it can be positive like all autoimmune diseases. Okay? But anti-Smith and anti-DS DNA, double strand, are more specific. Primary biliary cirrhosis is anti-mitochondrial antibody. PSC is perinuclear cytoplasmic antibody, so P-ANCA. So D, why is D wrong?
D is wrong?
Yeah.
O is,
What is SS?
didn't you say it was Rowan Law?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's
Oh,
bad.
that's parotid.
So SS
That's,
stands for.
it's the parotid.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Hits the eyes too.
It's scleroderma, no.
Oh,
Sjogren's.
Sjogren's syndrome.
Yes, I got that.
That's what the
I always
SS
get the
stands for.
sclerosis
Yeah.
and the Sjogren's switch.
So sclerosis, SCL, is anti-SCL70.
Yeah.
So try to remember that, because that is, that can't trip you up.
SCL7.
SCL70
Okay.
is sclero.
Oh, it has it.
Yeah.
Okay, SCL.
Yeah.
And that's Sjogren's syndrome.
SS is Sjogren's. So this is just a chart that kind of differentiates between your autoimmune hepatitis versus your primary biliary cirrhosis versus primary sclerosing cholangitis, because they can get a little confusing, but knowing the age components, being older is primary biliary cirrhosis commonly. Primary sclerosis cholangitis, being about 4 years old. Knowing associated conditions can be helpful too. So PSC has like inflammatory bowel diseases and things like that. And again, autoimmune diseases just run in packs, right? So always consider other ones. Knowing your ALT or AST autoimmune hepatitis, that's a primary liver disease, versus your biliary cirrhosis and sclerosing cholangitis, those are more the ducts, so you see ALT, or alphos and GGT. And then we just went over the antibodies, and we just went over the biliary involvement. These are just, they're infiltration because they're autoimmune. So autoimmune hepatitis, you get steroids. Primary biliary cirrhosis, you can use ursodeoxycholic acid. And then just goes through different prognosis. And that's it.
I think
Started out good.
should I stop it?
Yeah.
Well, that was good because it was an internet.